According to Metro, several 911 calls came in from area residents reporting an attempted break-in. Do we fight the government or do we try to work with them? Just meaning I am one of the million people who will be marching on Friday. Even after Lone Mountain was reopened to traffic, a reminder remained in the road. This cost-cutting measure of closing the branch will not result in any layoffs. This is the apartment complex where the 9-year-old lives with his mother. He was found less than a block away. How difficult is it to fight a fire? The distribution here will last until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Most of the people registered. Metro is not calling this a gang-related shooting, and homicide detectives tell us at this point they're still trying to figure out if the suspects and victims even knew each other. Dan, this is a copy of the letter that was sent out, received by several officials. It addresses concerns that County Commissioner Sisolak has about sick leave abuse within the fire department, allegations that add up to millions of dollars. The allegations are spelled out in black and white, right here in an arbitrator's letter. Sick leave abuse that cost the county over $7 million in 2009.
They'd call in sick right prior to the shift, so the next person would have to come in and work overtime and get what's called callback pay for that, which is PERS compensable, and it's at overtime rates.
County Commissioner Steve Sisolak points out that one firefighter took 48 days of paid sick leave, almost 1 day a week. Sisolak says the problem became apparent during contract negotiations, that he waited until arbitration was complete before sending this letter to local, state, and federal law enforcement officials, asking them to investigate. In the letter, he writes, "Since more than one person may have been involved, I feel a conspiracy may have occurred, which warrants further examination into racketeering and fraud."
If they are going to investigate, they should also investigate the management employee that is in charge of disciplining these employees.
President of the Clark County Firefighters Local 1908, Ryan Beeman, appeared on Face to Face, saying the union is not responsible for discipline. Management is.
If they knew that this abuse was going on and held on to this information all the way until arbitration, that individual should also be investigated.
Beeman explains that the tools to prevent any further abuse have already been put in place. The new contract states that any unexcused sick time in excess of 5 days can require a certificate of illness.
If it involves abusing the public trust, you're darn right, I'm on a crusade. I mean, it's gone on long enough.
Sisolak is hopeful the firefighters will join his fight to expose this so-called scheme and hold those responsible accountable for their actions. The firefighters union insists that this was an isolated incident, but Sisolak strongly believes that more than one person was involved, as stated in his letter. As of right now, he is waiting to hear back from the agencies to see if they will agree on an investigation. In the newsroom, Anita Roman, News 3, back to you in the studio. Gunshots ring out in this home video taken late Wednesday night.
Oh, that was gunfire. That was gunshot.
Frightening moments for the man behind the camera, Valley resident Stephen Muse.
I could hear the cops yelling at the guy, put down the gun, come out with your hands up.
It was boom, 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 boom.
Doug Moore heard the shots too.
It was very quick, very clear.
Moore, who lives down the street from the Broadstone Montecito apartment complex near Grand Teton and Grand Canyon Avenue, says he called 911 sometime after midnight.
They told me right away that they had an officer responding.
According to Metro, several calls came in starting at 11:15. Reports of a man with a gun walking around the complex.
I heard the helicopter last night. I thought they were probably chasing somebody speeding around.
Metro says that several of the residents here at the complex told dispatch that they looked through their peephole only to see the suspect kicking at doors, jiggling handles in an attempt to get inside one of the units.
That person obviously had very harmful intent toward everybody who lives around here.
Metro says when officers confronted him, the suspect pointed a gun at them and fired his weapon. That's when police say he was shot.
Oh, that was gunfire. That was gunshot.
An incident witnesses like Muse never thought would happen so close to home.
It was just crazy. I mean, this isn't something that happens in your neighborhood very often. And it was just kind of surreal, I guess.
Anita Roman, News 3.
And tonight, Gerard, everyone is breathing a sigh of relief, especially Matthew's mom, after the 9-year-old was found in his home safe and sound. But police are also using this incident as a reminder to tell parents to make sure to keep a very close eye on their kids.
Little guy in the red shirt.
Excited cheers erupted from a group of neighbors as 9-year-old Matthew Gordon walked towards them, right into the back of a squad car.
I was seeing if my friend come outside, and then I saw Matthew come outside.
The little boy was reported missing by his mother around midnight.
So scared. Really, he didn't get. We checked all his friends' house.
Anastasia Gordon says she fell asleep Friday evening. When she woke up, her son was gone. Matthew says he did the same thing at a friend's house.
I forgot to ask my mom because I forgot all about it, and then so I fell asleep there, and then when I woke up in the morning, I didn't even notice that the cops were even looking for me.
This is the apartment complex where the 9-year-old lives with his mother. He was found less than a block away at another complex just across the street, less than 24 hours before the report was filed.
You get a big sigh of relief when you see that with one of these cases.
Sergeant Tim Bedwell with the North Las Vegas Police Department says even though police take every call of a missing child very seriously, they urge parents to always be aware.
So what we would like as a parent to judge their child's behavior and whether it is out of the ordinary.
I always tell Matthew you need to go home.
Neighbor April Juarez describes Matthew as an independent little boy who sometimes stays out later than he should. Juarez, along with other area residents, were concerned for their own children's safety and say kids aren't necessarily to blame when something like this happens.
You still have to make sure that the parents are on the same page and communicating.
I told him he should have told me, where he went and things, and I did have a talk with him.
And police say officers did knock on the door of the apartment where Matthew was staying at his friend's, but no one answers. They knocked a couple of times. Gerard, back to you.